Welcome to Dephemerember 2023. I'm Barbara, and together with my dear friend Luise and I, we are thrilled to host this series of creating fun ephemera during December. We're both so happy to have you here. And throughout this series, you can expect tons of inspiration, goodies, freebies, and even a giveaway randomly sprinkled into our videos. Make sure to catch all our videos as we're posting 4 times a week this year until December 28th, so you won't miss any of the fun. If you've missed any of our Dephemerember countdown videos where we created a fabric bowl, our journal, introduced you to little Effie, our craft buddy, and shared a folder for our prompt list, you can find them all in the playlist below, along with the prompt list for you to join in on the creative journey. So we are tackling the first prompt. This is so exciting. So December has been turned into Dephemerember. So Dephemerember 4. The prompt is a butterfly and 3 torn things. This might be my favorite prompt, at least the way I picture it in my mind. So as you've just seen, I have already jotted down some notes for this prompt, but I also have a lot of questions here on the bottom. I hope little Effie here is going to be able to help me with those, because those seem like challenging issues. But let's do this step by step. I'm someone who loves working in baby steps, which is why I think I have an issue picturing the later steps, because I don't have a visual of what I want to do here yet. I think the best way to start off Dephemerember is with a freebie. What do you think? So when I think of a butterfly and torn things, I immediately think of grunge. Yes. So I have prepared a grungy butterfly freebie for you. You can find the link for that on my Ko-fi site, where you can download it for free, or you can donate if you wish. Obviously, I appreciate every donation, but it is a freebie, so don't feel obliged. In the vision I have in my head, I want this butterfly to be free. I don't want it to have to stick it down onto a page. This is where I have a huge challenge, because I don't know yet how to do that. But I want to print it on something sturdy. So I'm going to print mine on a canvas sheet. These are from Action. I cannot always find these at Action. They used to have this. They didn't have it for months. Now it came back to my Action here in Vienna. If you don't have an Action, you can also find these on Amazon, for example. Just search for printable canvas sheets. Mine are 280 GSM. They are primed with gesso. So on one side they're not primed, on the other side they are primed. But if you don't have canvas and you don't want to go and buy canvas now, you can either print the butterfly image just on regular copy paper, and before you cut it out, you back it with any kind of cardstock. Alternatively, if you have thicker cardstock you can print on, then you don't have to add the step of gluing the image onto some cardstock. To get the best quality print, don't forget to change your printer settings, because the default is always going to be a medium quality, which is fine for documents. But if we're printing images for a journal, we want the best possible quality. So be sure to change that in your settings. So I have my canvas print here. So I have printed on the primed surface, not the regular fabric surface. And because it has such a rough texture, it already looks a little more grungy than if I were to print this on regular smooth paper. Okay, let's move some things out of the way. I'll keep my notes close by. Little Effie, you can move here to the side. He needs to observe what I'm doing. And let's move Luise's scraps out of the way. Not sure if I'm going to be able to use any in this project. So the next thing I want to do is to cut around the image. I think I'm going to leave a tiny bit of a border because I do want to fray that. So I'm going to use fabric scissors for this. I'm not worried about the body. I think I'll add a different body, although I do like this steampunk kind of look. But I think I'm going to add my own body, so I will actually cut here and not worry about this middle piece. I can't even believe that we've made it to our first prompt for Dephemerember. You know, Luise and I have been preparing this for months. I think since, what, end of July or something like this? We've had so many ideas. We had to scale back on what we originally wanted to do. Maybe we can manage in future years, but it would have just been so much. Luise and I just don't have all the resources we would have needed to do what we had originally planned. So we had to replan the whole thing. And that's when little Effie here was born, little cutie. It's so hard for me to wrap my head around that after all these months of planning, we're finally here. We're creating our first ephemera for our journal. So there's, of course, different ways of approaching this because you've already received the prompt list on November 20th. So obviously you've had time to look at it and plan for it a little bit. And maybe you even started already creating some ephemera. Or you've been anxiously waiting to first see what Luise and I are doing and then create your own ephemera. Either way, whatever works for you is fine. I understand that some of you love to get inspiration from our videos. Maybe you're also worried that you're interpreting the prompt wrong if you start without seeing what we're doing first. But I would like to assure you that there is no wrong interpretation of the prompts. Just because I'm interpreting it a certain way or Luise probably another way, doesn't mean that those are the only correct answers. Everything we do here is just inspiration and they're just ideas to get you going. If you see something completely different in this prompt, or maybe you don't know what to do with the word torn, and you can't come up with 3 torn things for your prompt, then don't. There's no fast rules. It's all about just getting you going to make ephemera. But having said that, I also want to encourage you to try new things, to experiment, to do things out of your comfort zone, because this is how we're going to learn and grow as an artist. That's why we put the prompts together for you, so that you would be encouraged to do things you wouldn't already do in your journals. Because then what's the point of Dephemerember? Yes, it's a great community event. I love that part of it, but it's also for you to grow as an artist. At least that's how I see Dephemerember. Okay, we have these gorgeous wings, and I'm going to now take my scissors and fray those edges. You can also do that if you're printing it on paper or cardstock. If you're printing it on paper, please mount it to a thicker cardstock before you do this step. You can just take the edges of your scissors and then go around and fray your edges. Be a little more gentle with paper, I would say. So this is what mine looks like when it's frayed. So I'll just go around both of my wings all the way around. Also, it's of course okay to copy exactly what Luise or I are doing. That's totally fine. Otherwise, we wouldn't be sharing these videos if you weren't allowed to use our ideas. But obviously, you're never going to have exactly the same materials that we have. So please don't be discouraged when we use something you don't have. Find alternatives. As much as I can, I will provide you with alternatives, like I did here now for the canvas. But even if I'm using something completely different and you don't have any alternative, see what you can do with what you have. This series is not about having all the things or buying all the things. It's about making something with what you already have. And your items will be different than my items, and my items are different than Luise's items. Wow, do you see the difference? I love this grunginess. So all of my edges are frayed. They now definitely have more of a torn look. So that's one torn element. But I want to have more tears in here. So I'm going to just make some holes in here. Again, you can do this with your paper or cardstock as well. So I'll just take my scissors and go through the material. Cut a little bit to help. like that. So I love it. I'll do the same thing here. Whoops. Ooh, almost tore the whole thing apart. Wouldn't have been such a problem, actually. And I think it needs some more holes. I'll add one here on each side. I don't know why I enjoy destroying things so much. No, it's not about destroying things. It's about just giving them a worn look. It's not enough. This is where your project then starts getting its own life, its own mind, and you're actually just doing what the project is telling you to do, because one thing always leads to another. And that's why I find it quite difficult to make a plan from beginning to end to the final product in the journal, because I need to have the freedom and the flexibility to develop as I create. That for me is such an important part, and it brings me so much joy not to just have a plan and to execute it. See what happens if I do this and if I do that. I think I'm good with that. So I have 6 holes in total. So next I want to connect these two elements. And as you can see here, I have some jeans material. This is from some old jeans that I had. I just cut a piece that is big enough to accommodate these two wings. So next I want to glue these wings onto my jeans material. This is the back of a sticker sheet. I'm going to use my textile glue. You can use any PVA glue you have or other textile glues. I like putting mine in this little bowl, and then I have a jar of water here. So I dip my brush in so that it's a little wet. That thins down the glue just a little bit. And in between gluing, I always keep my brush in the water jar so that it doesn't dry out. So I'm just going to spread this glue on the whole surface. I just want to make sure my edges are still frayed. I don't want all those threads stuck down. So I'll just scratch around the holes a little bit to lift those again. I want them to be able to have a little bit of movement. Same for the edges here. And if I see that any parts are loose, I can just add a bit more glue. And I do the same for the second half. And I'm gluing the second half on so that I have some space in the middle for the body. This way I'm connecting the wings again, and I can figure out what to put here for the body. And after fraying these edges again as well, I just realized I made a mistake. Well, it's not a mistake, but it's something I wanted to do, which I now forgot, because I wanted to add some torn cheesecloth in between these two layers to make it look even more frayed and tattered. Let's see how well this is stuck. Oh, I can still make that happen. Okay, so I will gently peel the edges off again and tear some cheesecloth pieces and stick those underneath. Like that. Yes. Love it, love it, love it. So now I think I'll just use the textile glue from the bottle directly, because I really need this to stick. Okay, so I'll go all around and just add bits of torn cheesecloth. So good, it's so good. This makes me so happy. Maybe it's actually easier to do it this way, because this way the rest of the butterfly does not move. So this is what I have once it's done. Oh my goodness, a fuzzy butterfly. It looks more like a moth now, right? But that's totally fine. I love this. So originally my plan in my head was to then cut around the wings one more time and frayed those as well. But now I'm not so sure. Maybe I should just leave this as a page. This is where things become very unclear to me. But again, I'm going to work in baby steps. So the next thing I want to figure out is the body. And I thought it would be a really nice contrast to add lace here. So I have my jar of lace scraps here. Let's see if I can find something. I want something white, not beige. And I also was thinking about whether I should grunge up the cheesecloth and the edges of the holes with some Distress Oxide, but I kind of really just like the contrast of the white on the dark, so I don't think I'm going to do that. So what could we use to make a body? Ooh, this could be a good option because it's not so delicate. Oh, look at the combination. I love it. So how could we make this work? Let me cut a smaller piece. And then let's try to shape this more into the body of a dragonfly. Dragonfly. A butterfly. So I'm going to make like this oval shape. Like that. Oh, yes, 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 I like it. Except for one thing, it looks too clean cut. So obviously I need to fray this as well, but I don't want to lose the shape completely. So I'm trying to be gentle, but it has to, of course, fit to the torn look that we already have here. Ah, that's better. Yes, that's it. Before I attach this, I want to be more clear on what I'm going to do next. So looking at my notes, I've torn the holes, I've backed it with jeans, I've added the cheesecloth between the two layers. I had lace as a body, as a question mark, so that worked out beautifully. And then the two other question marks I have was decoration of back of butterfly. I'll think about that afterwards. And attach how? That is the big question. So if I were to just make this into a page, then obviously I can just make holes here and attach it as a page. So let's see what that would look like. I could also cut it down because it's peeking out a bit much out of my journal. A little bit is fine. So that could just be its own page. Why not? We have a jeans page. That would be awesome. But little Effie here just had an idea for me about another way I could attach this, which seems a bit crazy to me. I'll tell you what it is and then we can decide whether we want to try that. So Effie says take some wire, so I have some wire here, and make some antennae like I've done in the past with butterflies. So I've just used the wire to shape some antennae, which I want to do in any case. Even if I leave it as a jeans page, I want to add some wire antennae. But then what he says is if I can make them sturdy enough, this is really crazy, Effie, then I could make them wrap around one of the rings. So I could wrap one around here and wrap one around here and actually have the butterfly cut out. Whoa, that is really, really risky because once I cut it out, it's cut out. There's no turning back from that. I also have this wire that I have been recently gifted by my sweet friend Maureen. It is a deco wire. It is quite thick. And it seems from the picture here that it should be easy to bend. The gold is me, definitely. I'm not sure that it fits to the rustic look that we have so far, but I guess we could try it. This one might be too thin. I mean, it is quite sturdy. I don't know if I trust it to not bend totally out of shape if I keep moving the page. This is really tricky. Let's see how this wire behaves. So this is extremely easy to bend. Wow, I have never had such a wire. This is absolutely incredible. Wow. Effie, let's try this. Maybe I can try it without cutting the jeans. I'll need a little more space, Effie. So let's turn this around. This is incredible. I'm so in awe of this wire. Okay, so what we would need is a V shape. The question is also how to attach it to the butterfly so that it stays there. I could glue it down here. Will that be enough? That will have to be enough. Let's give us a little more space. I'm fine with these being wonky. I don't need perfect antennae. And then I think I would cross them because that makes it look more realistic when they come out of the body. I'll leave myself some more wire to play with because I really don't know how the wrapping around the rings is going to work. So I'd rather have a little longer end. So this goes under our lace. So then I'll cut this one off as well. Oh, this is super easy to cut. You could even use your scissors. So let's open the rings and let's see if we can wrap this around in a way that I can take it off again as well. And then maybe wrap the end around and then cut off this part so that I don't hurt myself. Okay, so that's one. This is really funny. Then for the second one, so I'm wrapping it around twice and not too tight so that it won't be too difficult to get it off. Like that. And then again, I will wrap the end around and cut off that end. So I have this shape that can go like that. That would be hidden then underneath the lace. I could try to make them a little less shiny by adding some alcohol ink. I'm going to try this one by the company Marabou, and the color is metallic bronze. So I've shaken this up. Let's see if this will stay. Might need more than one layer. I dried it with my heat tool a little bit, so now let's try another layer. I'm not looking for perfection. I just want to take some of the shine off. So I've added a little bit on the back as well, since we will be seeing that. It dries really quickly and now it's not as shiny anymore. So let's add these again. So this is definitely better than before. And I think the only way to really make this stick is using a glue gun, which I'm always afraid of because I have burned myself a few times. So fingers crossed, no injuries. Please be careful if you use a glue gun. Oh yeah, that's gonna hold. That is amazing. Then I'll add another layer on top. Let's add a little more down here. It's also actually nice because it raises the body a little bit and adds a lot of bulk to our journal. I'm going to regret this, I think. So this has dried. So let's gently take this off. So now I will cut around the butterfly and try not to cut away all of these beautiful grungy cheesecloth threads. So I'm lifting them a little bit so I can cut better. I'm cutting a very loose butterfly shape. I do want to be able to recognize from the back that it's a butterfly. This is all quite nerve-wracking, but I'm so excited to be doing something new. I am way out of my comfort zone, so that's good. So now I'll have to cut around these feelers. If this is too much out of your comfort zone, then please just go as far as you feel is right for you. You could just have the fabric page, which was the other option I had. So obviously I need to fray the jeans material as well. So again, I'll just take my scissors and go around the wings. So everything is distressed. I am so happy with this, but I still need to figure out what to do with the back side. So I had an idea to add some stamping, and I want to use this handmade stamp that I made using my glue gun. Just used a cardstock onto which I just made these circles with my glue gun. That's it. And I'm going to use this beautiful olive green in honor of Luise because this olive green I think is her favorite color, or actually her favorite color is forest moss. So that would be darker than this one, but I think she loves olive green as well. I also think it's a beautiful color, and I'm taking this one also because I know it's a good quality opaque color that we will hopefully see well on our jeans material. So I'll put some paint here. Whoops, way too much, way too much. And I'll use my finger to add it to my circles. Another option would be using a stencil. Okay, let's give it a try. Yep, that is cute. I'll add more paint every time I stamp. Would have been easier to do before I added the wire, but I didn't know if I'm actually going to cut it out. This is so fun. So this is what we have when it's dry. It's cute, but it's too clean for me. So I'm going to add some tea dye spray stain. Alternatively, you can use watercolor. This is quite dark. It's very different from the oxide version. So I want to be careful not to spray too much. And then I'm also going to try some speckled egg oxide spray. We don't see this actually. It does lighten up the tea dye. So I've dried this quickly. It's actually not 100% dry, but it's okay. It has lightened up again a bit, but it's not as clean as it was. So I'm happy with that. And I want to add the word torn on the back here. These are clickable alphabet stamps. I will link these for you below. I'll use black archival ink, and I hope it will be dark enough so that we see it well on the jeans material. It's going to be like this in the journal. So I'm wondering if I should stamp it like this or like that. Yeah, I think I'll stamp it like this. That is super visible, love that. And what's still missing on this side? Yes, that's right. I need gold splatters. So I'm using my Eye Zinc dye spray by Seth Apter called Gold Mine. You can use acrylic paint, watercolors, anything you have. This is what it looks like once they have dried. It definitely needed those gold splatters. Came to life a lot more like this. So let's see what it looks like if we add it to our journal. I am so excited. If you haven't seen how I made this binder with this soft cover, please check out the playlist. This was part of the Dephemerember countdown. I take you through step by step how I made this journal. It works. I don't have the feeling that this is too flimsy, that it's going to bend or break or anything. It's easy to turn the page. Oh my goodness, this is just so fun. Thank you so much, Effie, for helping me out with the attaching of the butterfly. This is such a brilliant idea. I don't think I would have come up with that myself. And if you don't have a little Effie yet to help you out, please see that playlist linked below so you can make your own Effie. He is super helpful, but I think he can also be very mischievous, so could go either way. So let's put our notes back in our folder. Again, this folder is part of the Dephemerember playlist, part of the countdown portion for Dephemerember, and it's made with a freebie. Let's put our notes back in here. And we can check off our first prompt for Dephemerember 2023. I'm so happy with this beginning. I'm going to go check out Luise's video because I cannot wait to see what Luise has created. If you're on social media, you can post your own creations with the hashtag Dephemerember. We would love to see what you come up with for this prompt. And I would also like to encourage you as a viewer to check out the hashtag Dephemerember also here on YouTube to see what other creators are posting. Same goes for Instagram, of course. So we'll tuck this in here. We'll close our little booklet. This goes in the pocket. And I hope to see you back here tomorrow for some more Dephemerember adventures with Effie. Love you guys. Mwah, mwah.